Everyone has a story.
I'm 22 years old. I'm adopted. I was taken away from my biological mom when I was 6, 7 years old.
I was brought up in a single-parent home. I have 2 sisters. My mother pretty much raised us by herself. She struggled and everything. She pretty much did the best she could with, providing everything we needed.
My mother had 8 kids, 7 girls and 1 boy. I ended up being taken from the system, being placed in a foster home. I was in for 15 years.
Some stories are tragic.
I've been married for 7 years, and I'm a victim of domestic violence. So that has definitely brought me to this point.
I went through a whole lot of abuse with my son's father, okay? And no matter if I was pregnant or not pregnant, if he didn't like what I was saying, he would hit me.
Most stories reach a low point.
At that time, when I was 19, 20 years old, got kicked out because of some poor choices that I made.
It was very bad, to the point where I just was about to have a breakdown. And I was depressed and walking on eggshells and having anxiety, so.
It was so bad. Me and my daughter were sleeping on the floor. There was no heat, there was no gas, there was no food,
Then there's the turning point.
I guess that day I just took a big look at myself and looked at all the people around me, and I decided, hey, this is not the life that I want.
I cried a little bit, but I dried my tears, and I'm like, okay, I gotta figure out what we're gonna do, because we can't be living like this.
I looked at my 2 sons. I looked at them, I was like, I can't do this. I can't keep putting them then in an unsafe environment, because if I do that, they're gonna end up growing to know something that's not right.
I was a high school graduate, and I had done some college, but that was about it. I didn't have a degree in anything. So it was a matter of basically starting my life over.
All these stories have one thing in common. Each of these women found hope at the Women and Family Center at MorningStar Mission.
I was calling different shelters, and they were giving me different areas. And one of the numbers that they gave me was the MorningStar Mission. I was like, well, okay, I'll call them to see what they're about and see how they'd be able to help me out.
But I wanted to do something better for myself. And someone had told me about this place a while ago, so I kind of knew about it. And then I kind of stumbled upon it again just on the internet. So it was a combination of those 2 things, and I felt like, well, I think I have to do this.
At MorningStar Mission, women are able to write new chapters to their life story.
By being here, the classes are helpful. They're educating me on finances, parenting, spirituality, just all types of things that we're going to need to equip us to be self-reliant.
I would say that MorningStar Mission has given me the push to get my life started more independently, quicker than what I normally would have done just by myself. And as for my girls, they've definitely provided all the necessities that my girls need, emotionally with like kids' Bible studies, physically with just fun little playgroup things for them, stuff like that. And then just the real basics, food, shelter, and clothing. Those are the basics, but they definitely provide for all those things too.
What really attracted me to this place was because I had been telling myself that I need to go back to church. I need to get my relationship with God right. I need to be more spiritual. And I saw that you have to go to church here. And I'm like, okay, maybe this is God's way of telling me that, okay, this is where you need to be.
This place is gonna have me start a new beginning with my life, and I need to start a new life, even though, I had some bad situations. I'm not gonna have my past that affects my future. I can't have that.
Your gifts help write happy endings.
My future looks very, very bright. I am a woman who has some hope when I desperately needed hope.
I'm only 24 years old, but I know exactly what I want to do with my life. And with the MorningStar Mission, they're going to help me get to where I want to be, where I have to be, not, for my kids.
Because of MorningStar Mission, I see a bright future for myself. I see me being in my own home and finishing school and having a bank account, saving money, because I'm not really good at saving money, and working and doing good and being a good example for my kids, and being a success story and breaking the cycle of my background.
There are people in need, and there are people here who are motivated to get their life better. They're not just, you're not giving money or your time for people to be lazy and to hang around and to sleep all day, or continue on their life to destruction or whatever. They're here to better their lives, to make something better for themselves and for their children, and that's important. It's important to help each other out.
Thank you for caring. Thank you for giving.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Some stories are tragic, whichever one works better. Most stories reach a low point. Then there's the turning point. All of these stories have one thing in common. Each of these women found hope at the Women and Family Center at MorningStar Mission. At MorningStar Mission, women are able to write new chapters to their life's story. Your gifts help write happy endings. Your gifts help write happy endings. Thank you for caring. There you go.